So I entitled this "The Why and the How of Health Ministry for the Church," and that brings us up to first. How are we doing, Chad?
Almost there.
Okay, and that brings up the why. Why are we doing health ministry? Or why should we do health ministry?
To reach out to others.
Because the world is sick.
The world is sick. Okay,
Reaching out to others.
it's the right arm of the message.
Right. Reaching out to others health-wise, and also reach out to Jesus.
Okay, so by helping them with their health, you can then somehow help them with
The spiritual.
spiritual. Okay. You mentioned what? You mentioned Jesus ministry, right? Okay. Any other? Can everyone see the screen?
Okay.
Can everyone see that little screen there?
Yeah.
Okay. Any? Yes.
Well, I think most people, health is very personal to each person. And I think when you care enough about helping them with their health, you touch a core of a person that they want to know how much you care.
Not too far.
That makes it far smaller even.
Well,
Everybody can see it.
there's a whole front row right here.
They want you to all move up to the front rows. I think that's what they're trying to say.
It was better.
Is it going to help if the lights
It was
off
better.
down here, up here, or does it make a difference?
She's the other way, yeah.
Can't take notes.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
You maybe just turn off the back ones or turn on the back ones and turn off the front ones.
Okay, try that one. Okay, we'll reverse lights. Okay, all of you have come up with really good things in regards to the why. And the first I would look at is in regards to, it was Jesus' example. He not only taught and preached, but he healed. And if you look at his methods, why would he do that? Why would he be healing people? Well, it's obviously an attention getter, right? I mean, that's the obvious one. But he was revealing God. That was his purpose, was to reveal God, the character of God. And God created us in a way that, and we'll get to that, is as multi-dimensional wholes. And it was to show them that God cares about not only the spiritual, but the mental and the social and the physical as well. So it was like a holistic way of approaching healing. And it was to increase their faith in him and in his word and power. So when they would experience a miracle, witness a miracle, particularly of healing, it increased their faith in him. And especially when he healed some of the untouchables, the lepers and so these people that were just, you didn't even associate them, you didn't even come close to them, they were unclean, and you touched them. That was showing that was something, especially when those were taken as a smitten of God, a punished by God illness that they had. They could have had neurosyphilis. And that was like, okay, you earned that. You got that. You deserve that. That was God's punishment on you because of what you did. And so when Christ would heal people like that, that would turn their thoughts about the character of God completely upside down. So in the manner that he did it, he would do it. This is really slow. In a manner that would be whether they accepted his teaching and preaching or not. And I think that's one of the things that you have to go into. If you go into health ministry for the church, you're not going into it with the sole purpose of we've got to get them into the church. If you do that only, you will be sadly disappointed. You'll be sadly disappointed. You'll be frustrated. You'll be unfulfilled. And so you have to go about this with the idea that you want to help your neighbors, your community people, and even your members in your church, whether or not they become Adventist, even whether they become Christian or become anything, or change in any way, philosophically, spiritually, anything like that. And he would not even get thanked. So not only did they not even get converted, maybe he didn't get thanked. 1 out of 10. That's pretty low percentage rate. I do better at that than I practice, I think. So the other point in regards to why of health ministry, well, we believe in this multidimensional whole. We don't believe in what we call dualism. And dualism is the separation between the physical and the spiritual. That you can either crucify the body so that you can liberate and heal the soul, or that they have nothing to do with each other. And so what you do with your body, it doesn't make any difference. You can go be with the prostitutes or whatever and do anything you want to with your body. That doesn't matter because it's your soul, which is really what's going to save you. We don't believe that. I mean, it was not taught that way. That's not the way the Judeo-Christian belief in the way man was created operates. And so it's showing that we have this holistic concept, not dualistic. And the other thing is that not only are we multidimensional wholes, but they're interdependent, and they're so interdependent that what affects one affects the other. So when we try to explain to people that come to our health program, why are we doing this for you? Well, yes, we care about you, we want you to be healthy, but we are a church. Why is a church doing this? And the church is doing this because of this idea of how we are created. And because of that, if you really want to achieve spiritual excellence, if you want to reach the highest spiritual experience you can have, you need to have the highest physical health you can have. Because one affects the other. You cannot affect one without affecting the other. Even such thing as a hangnail will affect you. Physically, mentally, not probably spiritually, I hope, but socially, whatever, just even little things like that will have an influence on the other aspects of our being. So, you already mentioned the fact about as the right arm of the message, or whatever it is. It's a means of friendship evangelism. It gives people or members an opportunity to meet the community or invite friends or whatever their connections may be. And so that you're hoping that in the caring of their physical health and their physical needs, that you develop trust and a relationship, and that they may be open then to spiritual needs and wants and healing. And as someone mentioned, people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. And so that's the idea you want to convey to them, that you don't really care. And one of the greatest examples of that I've had is when we've had the information sessions for different health programs. Someone invariably asks the question, well, is this just a way to get us to be an Adventist? And what's really nice about it is some of the people that have been through the programs that we invite to be there to help orient and answer questions, they will flat out say, no, that is not true. I've been to 3 of their programs. They have never once insisted that I come to church, never, it's always been an option, but they've never, tried to twist my arm, convince me to become an Adventist, do whatever, read their books or whatever. No, so we can flat out say and just honestly say that no, we're not doing this to try to make it happen. Now, if you want to be one, that's great. If you want to follow the evidence and that shows that if you want to live longer, you should become a Seventh-day Adventist, that's fine. But that's not necessarily the purpose here. All right, and then the last one, which I think is the most important for the members than it is for the community at large, and this one to me is a big one, and that is a lack of physical health and longevity robs God. It robs God. He talks about you're robbing me in your tithes and offerings, but when members are not taking care of their bodies and they're not healthy, if you don't have health, you don't have a lot. You can't function. And if you can't function, where is God going to use you other than be in touch with medical care? Maybe He can use you to minister to medical care providers. That's fine. But why have to do that before your time? Okay. So to me, this is a biggie, and as a reason why we should be into health health type of ministry. Well, how did Camarillo's health ministry start? And this started a few years back, and this question came up. Riney Black, who worked at the media center, he asked this question, I think, at the church board one time. He said, he ran across this question. He says, if your church closes doors tomorrow, would your community even notice, or would they even care? And it got me thinking. I got like, that's a good question to ask. That's a good question. Would they even notice that you were gone? And would they even care? I mean, have you had any kind of an impact on your local community? That they would go, oh man, we sure missed that church. They used to do all kinds of neat stuff. They used to be interested in our health. They used to, help try. Well, did we have nothing? No, we had something. We did have a pantry ministry, which feeds and clothes a number of the community. I mean, we're up to 80 families plus sometimes a week that we give food to.
More like 80 and 90.
Yeah, and so that's, they would miss us because there wouldn't be that every week. So, but what about the rest of the city that doesn't need the food? They probably wouldn't notice. So we set about kind of trying to formulate this goal, and the goal was that the Camarillo Church would be known as a place to go if one is interested in healthy lifestyle. We would have a reputation of promoting health and wellness. We would be the resource center in the town for those desiring better health. Well, were we starting from zero? No. I mean, we've done a number of things throughout the years. Anyone know about the Heartbeat program? Okay. The Heartbeat program was started by Elder John Scharfenberg a number of years ago in associated with Loma Linda University. And it was a coronary artery disease risk screening program. And we would do this once a year and invite the community. And we would get up to 150, 175 people that would come through on a Sunday. And we would do their blood lipids, but in conjunction with that, their blood pressures and their weights and height measurements. And then we would do other things for them, kind of throw in there. We had our dentists and dental hygienists do oral cancer screenings and oral health checks. We had optometrists come in and do glaucoma screening, and so we would do kind of things, add a few things to that program. We did 5-day plans to stop smoking. We had stress management programs, cooking schools, and we had done the old CHIP program for a couple of years. So that's what we had to start with. The Heartbeat program was discontinued. It was no longer, the materials were no longer available, and that's where we were. So what did we decide to do? So in 2013 was kind of one of those, when you don't know any better, you just try to do everything. Mm-hmm. So that was our maiden year, and we set out to try to do 1 or 2 health events per month for the year. Yeah, I hear already people say, you're right, I wish I would have listened to you a long time ago. Okay, so this was the 2013 programs. First we had a health screening. So instead of the Heartbeat program, we decided to have a community health screening program. And I don't know if you can see that. Whoops. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have done that. What did I do? Let me go back. So we did we did do the lipid panel, but we did height, weight, we did foot health checks, we did the health age. You can do a health age screening. We did antioxidant screening. We did, I couldn't read all this stuff that's on here. Hearing screening. Yeah, that's what it did.
Yes.
And so we had about 17 stations. We did depression, anxiety screening. We did their oxygen saturation and peak flow, so kind of a lung function thing. We did
Blood pressure.
we did the blood pressure. We did the glaucoma again. We did anemia screening. The oral cancer checks and oral health. All those kinds of things were done. And so that's how we started the year in January. We also did what's called a full plate diet. I don't know if you know about that one. It's a full plate diet. It's an 8-week, weekly sessions on helping people to eat, to lose weight. So it's a full plate diet to lose weight. And it's geared towards helping them get more fiber in their diet and getting up to 40 grams of fiber a day. And helping them to, and so they would say, are you eating enough to lose weight? Are you eating enough fiber to lose weight? So that's the kind of the nuts and bolts of it. But it was a very easy program to do, and it's facilitated by one person or more. It's very scripted. You don't have to be even medically knowledgeable to do this program. And so we held that towards the beginning of the year, I think in February, end of January into February. Then we also did film showings. We did free film showings to the community, and there were a number of them. I think we did about maybe 5 or 6. Got the facts on milk. We did Forks Over Knives. We also did the Forks Over Knives extended interviews, which was a second follow-up film. Food Matters. We did Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. That's a very good one if you haven't seen that one. Food Inc. So then we also, besides that intermixed, we would have, so that would be maybe once a month we'd have a film showing. And then also once a month we were having specific health talks on more like mini subjects. So these would be on coronary heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, cancer, stress, women's health, longevity, osteoporosis, healthy eating, and depression. So we had these on Sabbath afternoons, kind of like our Saturday seminars. And we had various presenters and physicians and health people giving those talks. Then we also had what was called Healthy Taste of Ventura. Healthy Taste of Ventura is an outgrowth of what's known as Healthy Taste of LA, HTLA. And it was started a couple of years, it might have been back in 2011 or 2010, by Pastor John Jensen, along with Chef AJ, who you see here in the far left picture. She and her husband, and then Pastor John Jensen of the South Bay Church, along with his wife, they partnered together to produce this program called Healthy Taste of LA. And after being in one of Chef AJ's classes, cooking classes, I asked her if she would bring that kind of formatted program to Camarillo. So we decided to call it Healthy Taste of Ventura, meaning Ventura County. So what the format is, it's an all-day seminar in which we invite a number of guest speakers and chefs. So we had 3 speakers, scientific speakers, 3 chefs, and then space them out through the day. It'd be an all-day affair. They would serve them lunch, also a light breakfast if they would come early. And that would be an all-day program that would be a charged program. Okay, that would be one of the more expensive things. So that wouldn't be one of the freebies. Very well, it succeeded very well in South Bay. They were willing to bring it to Ventura, and after that, they even did one in Sacramento. They've done one in the Inland Empire. They've done another one in South Bay.
What did they cost?
They charge upwards to $149 on the day of if you walk in at the door, but you can get it as low as $75 if you're way in advance. So as you get closer and closer to the event, the price keeps going up and up.
And that's per person?
Per person, yep. No couples discount. So that was a program that we had. That year we had it in April in 2013. Then we were going to have the CHIP program, so we decided to have Hans Diehl come out from the Lifestyle Medicine Institute in Loma Linda. He came out and spent a Sabbath and giving a presentation during Sabbath school for church and in the Sabbath afternoon. And he usually brings his wife with him, Lily, who gives a musical concert for us as well. And then he stayed around the following day, Sunday, and did our information session with the CHIP program. I'll just explain that in a little bit. The CHIP program has an information session, and so he gave the first information session. And he was helpful. Having him attracted a lot of people from the community and got more people into the CHIP program. Then we also had the CHIP program. We ran the CHIP program. The CHIP program is a kind of an intensive lifestyle modification program. And the way it is now, and by 2013 it had changed to a new format. They had, Dr. Deal had sold it to the sanatorium in Australia, and they redid the whole program, updated it, new materials, and the new presenters. He was still one of the presenters. So the cost of the CHIP program is upwards from a minimum of $399. It's ideally supposed to be a 12-week program. It's marketed as a 30-day program. And so what happens is they go in for the first 4 weeks. You meet 3 times a week for 4 weeks. Before it, you do blood tests, weight, blood pressure, all that's measured. At the end of the 4 weeks, you do it again. And then you give them the results and have a graduation. But they still go on another 4 weeks every week. So once a week for 4 more weeks. And then after that, another 4 weeks in which you do it every other week. So really you get 18 sessions. So instead of the 12 sessions, you actually get 18 sessions in 12 weeks. Then you're supposed to follow it up with once a month, what they call the CHIP alumni. Well, then we decided to change it to something in a different format. We call it our Vegan Gourmet Club. That's our monthly program. It's for the CHIP alumni, but we opened it up to anyone in the church or in the community that's interested. So it's very nice because it's regular. It happens every month, second Thursday night of every month. People know about it now, and so when anyone's interested, they know we'll just come to the Vegan Gourmet Club, our next Vegan Gourmet Club, because it's something that's going to come around every month. So that's a place where we kind of support the CHIP people in changing their lifestyle, keeping that going, keeping in contact with them, but also anyone else who's just interested in eating better and learning how to cook in a whole food, plant-based manner can do so and just get into that. So we've expanded to more than just a CHIP alumni type of group. Then we've had Dr. John Westerdahl. He came and did a day like Hans Deal did. He did a Sabbath morning services, presentations, and then he also did our afternoon Saturday seminar presentation on longevity. So, and he's local. So, that was 2013. So this year, we didn't do it the same. So we cut back a little bit. We had another health screening. So year one, we had 125. So in 2013, we had 125. Okay, this year, we had 85. So are we going to do it in 2015?
Yes?
No. Nope. No. Too much work. So, it went down. I mean, there's not that much interest. If it had been the same or gone up, sure, we might think about doing it again, but we're not going to do it for 2015. So, we did instead on the full plate diet. They came up with another program, another 8-week, once a week sessions on emotional eating. And so we did that. We ran that. There was a little bit less interest. We tried to follow up because we were doing screening for emotional eating at the health screen. We thought we would get a group that would be able to go into this program, which we did. And we did get people that went into this program. It's an okay program. It's the psychologists that we know, the counselors that work in this area, looked at the material, thought it was excellent material. My advice would be to run both at the same time. Run both at the same time. The full plate diet, the regular, which focuses on how to do the eating in the full plate diet, and run the emotional eating at the same time. No, it's not at identical same time, but run one on one day of the week, run the other one on the other day of the week. Recommend both for the people. If they want to do one or the other, it's fine, but I would strongly recommend they do both. it'll be much more effective. We did another Healthy Taste of Ventura. Different speakers this time, different chefs, and we went up from the first year we had about 125 in 2013. This year we sold out at 250. We had Chef Mark Anthony. He had been with us in 2012, so we couldn't get him for 2013, but he said he'd be back for 2014, so we got him for 2014. So he came out in March, and he does a Sabbath sermon, and then he cooks for the community on Sunday and gives a cooking demonstration and talk. And he just takes an offering. We have our Vegan Gourmet Club, and we also have the CHIP program. We did our CHIP program again, and then we still have the Vegan Gourmet Club going. We also had a speaker, Dr. Arlene Taylor. She's an Adventist psychologist, PhD psychologist up in Napa, and she gives a seminar on the brain. Very dynamic speaker, very entertaining. She is an excellent speaker, presenter. She was very well received by the community. We had more people come up to, I had more people come up to me after her presentations from the community, thanking me for inviting her to come. She was that good. I haven't had that many people thank me about other people that have been there, but she was. And she offers CEU credits for psychologists. So if they come, they will get, each lecture is an hour of continuing education credit for therapists. So then we are currently holding right now the Dr. Nedley's Depression Recovery Program. Okay, and that's an 8-week, once a week session as well. We're now halfway through ours, and that's going well. We had and it's the first year we've run it, and I think we had 17 sign up. So 2015. So you notice there were some changes going into 2014. We cut out the Saturday seminars. We cut out the film showings. They just weren't that well attended. So if it's not a need, we're not trying to fill something that isn't necessary. So what are we doing for 2015? I'm not sure yet, but some things I do know for sure. We are having Dr. Wes Youngberg. He was here, I think, last year. We're having him in January. In February, we're going to have a replacement. The Healthy Taste is not, they're cutting back. They're not wanting to spread out some more, and they're not going to have Healthy Taste except in LA. So we're going to do our own knockoff of the same thing, arrange our own speakers, and not have to charge so much money. Because they had to make money. We at least want to break even, but we don't have to charge as much money. I'm not sure how much we'll charge yet. It kind of depends on how much the speakers cost. And for the, and we are having, what I've done, we're inviting the Joy Cafe. Any you know about the Joy Cafe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Joy Cafe is going to cater our lunch. And we've been there a couple times, and we think their food's good. Yeah, it's good. So they're gonna cater our lunch. That was one of our concerns before with the Healthy Taste of LA. It was too Healthy Taste of Ventura. The food was not very tasty. And it wasn't that we had done it, but that was one of our criticisms. So we're calling it the WHOLE conference. We haven't really figured out what WHOLE stands for, but it's going to be at least the why and how of. So far, it's life-promoting eating, but there's other acronyms we could use in there. The why and how of living exceptionally, or whatever. We haven't settled yet on something that I think really resonates, but we're going to call it the WHOLE conference, and that'll be in February 22, 2015. We'll still have the CHIP program. We'll do the CHIP program again. We are having Dr. Deal come out again. He's going to be one of the presenters at the WHOLE conference, but he's also going to come out and do a Sabbath before the CHIP program, before the information sessions start. So he'll give one of the information sessions. We still have the ongoing Vegan Gourmet Club. We're having Dr. Taylor back again because She was so well received. And it looks like we'll also do the depression recovery program again next year. The current facilitators seem to be encouraged. So, other ideas. Health fairs. You could do. We've tried blood pressure checks after church. Doing that every week. Cooking schools have been done before. We tried Dr. Greger's website. He's been the speaker at our Healthy Taste of Ventura twice now, and he's going to come back in 2015 again. He runs the nutritionfacts.org website, and you can show those video clips, during Sabbath, between Sabbath school and church, or some other time when you do health emphasis. I didn't put together these presentations. I just gave them the format, but I didn't give them the spelling. Health nuggets each Sabbath. I've seen these done at churches. There's the creation program. That came out through the Southern California Conference Health Ministry Office. In learning how to be facilitators. I don't know if anyone went to that. The creation, from what I understand of it, it's kind of like a remake of the New Start program. They just use different acronym. And to me, they should have kept it with New Start instead of creation. I think the name turns off people, that are not particularly Christian-oriented or God-oriented. And so to me, that's like you just eliminated a bunch of people that might be interested. So I don't know why they went with creation. That just kind of... So I didn't really show a real interest in that. There's been this reversing diabetes and heart disease program that's been run in the conference every so often. I have asked if they could bring it out to Camarillo area. Have not gotten any positive feedback. And there's Microchip. Microchip is a program designed to get your church members enthusiastic about doing a chip program. We did it. It was very interesting. We primarily used it as a way of finding which recipes were the good ones. So that's what we really did with the microchip. I mean, a little bit of information, but it was helpful to us because in our chip program, the chip program is a video presentation and a workbook and stuff like that, a discussion and that type of thing. But we coupled it with a meal. We didn't want to just do food samples. We decided to give them a whole meal to experience what it was like to eat whole food plant-based diet. Also, so they take the hassle out of them going home after work, going to cook dinner, coming to the meeting. We wanted them to come right to the meeting at 6:30, not have that hassle. They could just come, eat, and that'd be part of the program. And so that makes the value of the program so much higher. So when they first started, $399, and we agreed because the old chip program we'd charge them like $129 or $89. I mean, nominal, minimal fees for just the supplies and materials. But when we went to this new format, they would charge us $249 flat, period, per person, and then the rest we have to cover. So we'd have to cover the blood tests, we'd have to cover any advertising, we'd have to cover food, and so we had to charge them $399 practically. But what we did is we charged the $249 for the spouse. We definitely wanted the spouse to come. We thought that was advantageous to have a spouse go through the program with them. So we would just discount it to what our cost was and even lose on the blood tests and that type of thing, just to get the spouse to come. Because if you can get the spouse to come and they go through together, so much more effective. All right. So I wanted to get your ideas on. This is kind of my take. If you had questions or other ideas, I gave you a sheet. If you didn't get it, you might have extra copies for resources. The resources are the ways you could get in contact with some of these people if you're thinking of doing some of these programs. And so that you don't have to go trying to find out where they are or try to copy it down from the slide or something like that. So those are the resources that I've used to get in contact with these people, and I'm happy to. Did you have anything else you've tried? I mean, I'd like to learn what other experiences you've had. Yes.
What methods did you use to get out to the community other than the church members inviting people? How did you get out into the community? How did you advertise all these ministries that you had going?
Okay.
What media did you use?
We use a number of different media. We use the newspapers, and we used sometimes we use radio.
Are these PSAs and
No,
press
we
releases?
didn't do
This is
PSAs.
paid advertising?
We had some contacts with the local, especially for Healthy Taste of Ventura. Chad here had a contact with someone who does a Saturday morning talk show on what's going on. It's called the 805, right? The 805, and it's KVE. Anyways, it's a Ventura County radio station, and so they would just have us on, and we'd give away some free tickets and things like that. They would interview us about the program and do that, and then we would we distribute flyers, posters.
What about going after a different population, more blue collar?
And how would you do that?
I'm just asking if you guys have done that.
Well, we haven't targeted any particular audience. We've just been trying to somehow get it out to the community. We do have a Camarillo station that also kind of puts out what events are going on in the city. So we've gotten on that this last year. We'll try to do that for 2015 again as well. And they've been real receptive, I think, just because they just want to know what's going on. They want to have something that they can put out there that says something's happening in Camarillo.
We also have the advantage of being across from the Camarillo Library.
Yeah.
And lots of people go there. And so what we've done is have a big giant flyer on the side of our church. And many people who've come to that say they saw the big sign.
That's true. Yeah, but if they drive out of the parking lot of the library, they look at our church. So on the side wall there, we put a big banner. Yes?
The North American Division has a free website that you can advertise on for free, and it goes to different constituencies across the state. And also,
Would that be to Adventists?
it's the North American Adventist, Katia Reinhardt, her page, her website.
Okay.
It's at the General Conference. They have a website that we can use to post.
But that would go to basically Adventist organizations, not just public places?
That's a good question. But I know when we had Wes Youngberg here, somehow Google picked it up. And it went all across Google because Betty Cooney called me and asked me how we did that.
Okay. Okay, that's a good resource.
And that's a really good,
Okay. All right, that's good. Yeah.
There's a lot of useful resources, the internet, media and stuff. It helps to be well versed in the health message, because on a daily basis, the friendship aspect of that really appealed to me, because my neighbor's got diabetes. One of the friends that I associate with got lymphoma. There's people that are over with, the world is sick, and there are people that are starving, thirsting, dying to hear this message. And the opportunities exist. All we have to do is load our guns and go out there.
Yeah. I agree with you, yes.
Share with them how a number of the ones that came to our last CHIP program, the critical state that they were in.
Yeah, we've seen some dramatic changes with the CHIP program. To me, the CHIP program, if you want to direct anything, the CHIP program is the best. It costs a lot. It is work, but like anything else, because of that, it's worth it. And there isn't anything like it. There is nothing like it out there. So nothing is competing with you.
It's cheaper.
You're only competing with the live-in programs, and they don't do anything near what you can do out in the community. Because one is, you have continuity with them even after. The people that go to a live-in program, they come back after 10 days or whatever, and they're back into their same old thing, and they have no support, they have no connection. Whereas this group, once we've done 12 weeks with them, we're friends. I mean, we're first name acquaintances. We meet them wherever, you run into them. I mean, we had a couple of them get married in our church. They were going to get married, and they decided to get married at our church and have our pastor marry them. I mean, it was like, and we've had some dramatic things. I mean, it's very, very touching. And you're going to get, of course, all different kinds of people. You're going to get the people that never want to go to a doctor. You're going to get some people that, some of these type of things. But, you just try to take care of them, try to help them, just love them. And the one I had one lady that I don't know why I was doing blood pressures on the follow-up, and her blood pressure was like, it's like 180 over 110 on the first. And I said, "Are you seeing a doctor?" "No." "Well, why aren't you seeing a doctor? You need to really get this taken care of. I'm really concerned about you." And she was not that old, and but she didn't want to do it. And everyone told her she had to be on medication. She didn't want to do medication. So anyway, she stuck it out, and she came back. And I was taking the blood pressures, and when she came back, and her blood pressure was like 130 something over 80.
Wow.
And she started crying. She said, "Really? What was that again?" And she started, tears came to her eyes, and I was like, oh my goodness. I said, you didn't go see a doctor? You didn't take any medicine? "No." So she was pleased, and her blood pressure is even lower since then. So, the program works. I mean, for the people who do the program, it really works. People came off their blood pressure medicines, some of their diabetes medicines. So and to me, because of the longevity and the length of time you have contact with these people, it is the most. It's just a way of networking with these people, and getting to know them, and they become comfortable with you, and you get these trusting relationships, and because we have the vegan or gourmet club every month, it's just a way of just keeping up with them. It's an excuse for me to contact them once a month, reminding them about the vegan gourmet club, follow up. So to me, that is the best piece of the health program that we've seen, and the most impactful. And some of these people will then, they'll appear in church one day, oh hi, and then so they're not someone that's totally, you can go up and talk to them because you recognize them from the program and welcome them and make them feel welcome, and they're not going to a place that's totally, unfriendly and no one's going to talk to them or something like that. So, and we didn't specifically invite them; they just appeared. Or they may come with one of their friends or something like that. Or some of them have been invited by our members, and then they come with the member. Or they come on their own.
I think we had also a couple that didn't have an onset of diabetes, and they called a friend and they said, what should we do? And it was like, well, if you can find a CHIP program in the area, and they had to cancel a cruise to come to the class, and I think they were helped with the diabetes and blood pressure.
Just hang around those Adventists. They know a lot about being healthy.
I mean, people are out there that are on the edge. I mean, and they don't know what to do. And like you say, there isn't a program like it, and they're just will do anything to come to the program.
Any other ideas or questions? Or
have you done anything with aquaponics?
Aquaponics, like
it's a closed loop. Like they use a fish tank to fuel the nutrients in the water, and there's a lot of organic farming now going on in California. They use about 20% of the water that's typically used.
Hydroponics.
It's hydroponics, but it's with the fish aspect. It's called aquaponics.
Oh, with the fish.
Because the manure of the fish is basically mineralized in the water.
Yeah.
It's the highest yield per square foot that they've ever been able to achieve.
But you got to keep the fish alive.
The fish stay alive because the plants are constantly providing nutrients,
I see.
plus you have different insects and larvae and things that you put in there that just naturally replenish. All you do is add a few gallons of water a month. That's all you do.
That'd be a lot less than I'm adding to my tower garden. But we did have one of our people that were helping out. He was involved with the tower garden. They gave a presentation on the tower gardens and stuff like that. So at our vegan gourmet clubs, we'll have sometimes guest chefs come in. We'll have guest speakers come in. We had this thing on gardening. We had one on the tower garden, and it's a good way of just in keeping current. We try to keep them updated on any new information that's happening out there, and answer questions. Try to help them. Those are problem solved. I mean, the room will be filled with people who are doing this and cooking. And it's a great way for people to get help. When they encounter problems in cooking and meal preparation, solving those problems and making the change. So, yes.
What did you say you were having that next chip program?
Next chip program will be March, about middle of March, like 15, somewhere around there. Because Dr. Deal will be out, I think, the first weekend in March, like March 8 or something like that. So we'll be having the information sessions the Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday after that, and then we do the chip program right after that. Yes?
Our church took a series of health management coaching classes and then invited the community to come in with whatever problems they had and assigned members that had taken the course to kind of guide them through and give them specifics on how to make better choices in whether it was to stop smoking, whether it was their diet, whether it was depression. Lay counseling. And
health coaches.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Did you have to go through get kind of a certification or something like
Yeah,
that?
the conference offered the class. They offered it twice. You go.
Oh yeah, I think I saw something
Betty,
about that. Betty Cooney
offered it, and
yeah.
then Lorraine Barton led the class, and then there was about 60 of us that went to the class, and then we were supposed to coach some clients, find some clients, and I've done a couple of clients with their diabetes, and it's all been on the phone. I've never,
it's just all on the phone.
and I just did it on the phone. You could do it in person, or you could do it on the phone. The two clients I worked with, I did it on the phone. They would call me because they don't live local. I did it on the phone and just ask them how are things going, and then they tell me, and I'd say, well, how are you doing with your diet and stuff? Are you walking? And one gentleman lost 15 pounds, got his blood sugar control. The other one, it helped her with her arthritis. So it's just mainly just phone, and it's mainly just encouraging, listening and encouraging them. That's basically.
How do you get matched up to these people?
Usually, when they've gone to a class, when they've gone to both of these people have come to some of our classes, so we've got to meet them, and then they got to meet some of us that were coaches, and then you make friends with them, and they'll call you and they say, oh, can you help me with this and that? So several of us have done coaching with the people that we've met, and sometimes it could be a referral from someone else. The one gentleman was a referral from someone else, and so it depends on what their needs are. But you can do a lot of coaching, and it can be just on the phone.
And do you work with? Do they have to be with a physician or something like that, or they don't?
Usually, you will make sure that their physicians care if they are taking any kind of meds or if they're on a program. Yeah, and if they're not, you try to encourage them to go and see a physician, because then that way, you're kind of going alongside them just to watch to make sure that they're
right.
That they're getting the right medical care that they need for themselves.
Yeah, I think that'd be important. If they are on medicine, they should be under supervision. Yes.
For your depression recovery, did you go through the certification process to Neil Ledley? And so is a lay person doing it, or is it a therapist?
We had a therapist and her associate in her practice that went through the facilitator and director
They did the online training?
They actually went to one of Nedley's training sessions back in, I guess he was doing it in Texas.
Right.
Yeah, so they went and did that. But you can become a facilitator online.
Yes.
All right, any other questions? Did everyone get one of those sheets, those resource sheets?
I didn't get it.
If you didn't, give me your name and we can get one to you.
We had also
Yes.
had a lady who was had a massage program that also did water treatments and all that kind of thing, and she came in and also trained our church members that were interested, and that was another way to be able to give services to the community and people that were in that health, whether it was they were trying to quit smoking or chronic fatigue or various things. It was just trying to help them feel better, and then in general, and then work on things about their diet and work on things that were interrelated as part of their health. So introduction. Yeah, it was from online.
All right, when are you supposed to leave? Are you supposed to be gone at 4 or
Yeah.
time 4? All right, I'm happy to stay by and answer questions if you have any, but you should get on to your break and then your next session at 4:30. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome.